This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim pass the assist, you know that it's number one show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, the New York Knicks are in first place in the Eastern Conference. I don't remember when the last time we could say that. We could say, and I don't remember the last time we started out 4-1. But we are right now, ladies and gentlemen. We got Andy, and we have, as soon as I can get myself up the screen, we got Andy, we got Steph in the building, and we're going to go ahead and get this thing started. Steph, how you feeling after last night's game?
Sim, Andy, chat, we are in first place, and I'm loving it. It's always bodes well when you're not playing at your best and you still find a way to pull out games. Right. So I'm super excited. We're only going to get better. Kemba is coming around. Randle is, not Randle, RJ is scoring off the dribble. I'm happy.
Yeah. Can't help but to be happy. After last night's game and we did the post-game show, there's probably a lot of people like, oh, these guys happy that the Knicks are winning or not? But ladies and gentlemen, we are very happy that the New York Knicks are 4-1 and in first place in the Eastern Conference. Andy, what's your thoughts, man? I know you just watched the game just just finished up a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, this is the shoot around for you guys. It's the post game for me. I barely watched the game, so I'm really hot after it. Just finish it up like an hour ago. I still, was stressed out because, we had the lead and I was like, I don't know why, but I had a bad feeling about this game. And, when the lead trembled down and my wife saw me watching it on the couch, she's like, just don't throw the phone at the TV. And I was like, I'm not going to do that because, they have like 10 points lead and it's like a minute and 40 seconds, and then, she was like, she saw me, my eyes were going red and stuff. And I was like, I was so pumped and so, stressed out that, listen, first I'm going to have gray hair and I have them already. Then I'm going to be bald. So listen, she doesn't want me to watch the Knicks live because that would be, definitely worse. So, but I'm happy we got the win. Listen, a couple of years back, we would definitely find a way to lose these kind of games.
Right.
And, it was a record that we lost like 20 couple of games by less than 5 points. Yeah. And it was under even Fizdale, right? So he wasn't a perfect coach, but even that kind of a stat, it's mind-boggling, right? So listen, like Steph said, we're not playing perfect basketball, but since we get in the W's, let's be happy. And listen, that Magic game just was a bump in the road. It should be a W, so we should be 5-0.
Yeah, well, we should be, but I will say I do think that Magic game did some good for us.
Yeah.
We lost it, but I think it did a lot of good for us because, we may not win this game if we don't win the Magic game, or we may not beat Philadelphia if we don't win that
exactly.
Magic
I was going to say.
Right.
As a quick recap, ladies and gentlemen, the New York Knicks started off fast last night. I think we jumped out to a 14-6 lead or something like that, right? Or maybe it was a little bit more. Jumped out to a lead. Chicago came back, and then it was nip and tuck for the entire first half. The Knicks led like 55-51 or something like that at the end of the first half. Third quarter, the New York Knicks built about a 12-point lead. I'm sorry, it was 52-49 at halftime. Wait a minute. Let me get that right. It was 55 to 51
right?
at halftime. Yeah. The Knicks scored 52 points, and the Bulls scored 49 points in the second half. but it was 55-51 in the first half. Second half, the Knicks built a 12-point lead. As a matter of fact, they had a 10-point lead going all the way down to just a couple minutes left in the fourth quarter. And then somehow, some way, a collapse happened. Don't know exactly why, but a collapse happened. Chicago came back and had a chance to win the game with like 5 seconds left on the clock. RJ Barrett played pretty good defense on DeMar DeRozan. He said in his post-game press conference that he's seen DeMar DeRozan use that little pump fake a lot because he watched him while he was playing for the Raptors, and RJ was in Canada. A good defensive play, didn't bite on the pump fake, was able to get a good contest up for the shot. DeMar DeRozan misses. The New York Knicks win 104-103. So what, could have been, a game where the Knicks took it to a 17, 18-point lead, ended up being a nail-biter. I don't know if it's more of a compliment to the Chicago Bulls for being a good team, or if the Knicks are beginning a trend of having some fourth quarter troubles. You know what I'm saying? Because we've seen some teams come back on the New York Knicks. Either way, they're finding ways to get wins, and that's what I care about. Right. But Steph, which one do you think it was the Bulls? They're a good basketball team. They were going to make a run, or is it more on the New York Knicks?
I think it's both. I think that the Knicks let down a little bit, and I think the Bulls are a good team. And I think that when you're not a good team, if the Knicks let down in that situation, a bad team doesn't make enough shots to get back in the game in that short period of time, right? But a good team can. So I think, even I'm like, we're about 2 minutes left, a minute and something. I kind of thought it was over myself, and maybe some of the Knicks did as well.
Right.
And they let down a little bit, and because the Bulls are a good team, they were able to take advantage of it. But I think, hopefully lesson learned. Tibbs said in his press conference that they have to learn how to put in a 48-minute game. They haven't done it yet. So that's something that's on their radar. And so I'm confident that it'll happen.
Yeah. Let me get around. You see, we got Big Bubba. We got Evergreen here joining us today. Big Bubba, really quick, man. Say what's up to everybody. Give us a quick thought about last night's game. A quick one.
Yes. Sam, you can hear me perfectly? Is everything good?
Sounds good. Real good.
Okay, just try to get the mic up, Yeah. I had to steal Kev's mic. Shout out to Evergreen. Thanks for the service, brother. Steph, Queen, Andy, Sim. Last night game, man, I was literally happy, Sim, for 46 minutes. I was literally happy. After that, the last 2 minutes, it was just a complete joke of what happened. It was very bad. I mean, I'm probably going to talk about it a little bit later, but again, listen, we got the W, which I'm cool with, but it's a lot of things that I'm seeing, Sim, that is very concerning. And
like what?
We're going to talk.
Like what? Go ahead. Jump into it.
Well, Sim wasn't. I would let people know Sim wasn't responding on the group chat today when we talk about ISO Randle and the elite ISO scorer Randle. He don't want to answer nobody today, but it's all right. I know he's a busy man.
Yeah, I have a lot of things to do than to answer. A group chat when the Knicks just won. Someone's trying to worry about if he's a lead or not. We all know the answer to that already. But
we do know the answer. No, but when I say that's really concerning is just the late time game, like the late time decisions that these guys are making. Kemba is really scaring me, Sim, with these late time decisions. What he's doing late. Randle, he has to know, again, I don't want to get too deep in already, but one thing that really made me mad was at the end when there's 14 seconds left, Sim, the Knicks miss a shot. Randle grabs it. Instead of just grabbing the rebound and letting time go down, he shoots it back up, and it misses out. Kemba, just the late time decision making. Burks, I just don't understand why he was in the game. That was just a mess. And then, I think also too with Tom Thibodeau, I think we all, and I know there was a lot of discussion today, I know among Knicks fans and everything, about Derrick Rose closing, which I think he should be closing, because right now Kemba's decision making in the last 2 minutes is really concerning, because again, this is the second time and within 5 games the Knicks should have just listen, I'm sorry.
Well, I'm going to say this. I want to let Tom Thibodeau continue to run through the process the way he's running through the process. They're 5 games in. Like Tom Thibodeau said in his press conference, between Julius Randle and RJ Barrett, they're literally playing with 3 new starters on the floor, because Mitch barely played last year. 3 new starters on the floor. There's going to be a lot of kinks to work out. So I'm not going to complain and be upset about the rotations at the end, how Kemba's doing things at the end, how Randall's doing things at the end right now. I'll talk about it. Wait a minute. I'll talk about it. But I'm not going to be upset about it, because they're 5 games in and you're basically playing with a brand new starting 5. They've got a lot to learn together as a basketball team.
No, and Sam, I do agree. No, Sam, I truly do agree with you with them learning. And trust me, I would rather be getting these wins the way we're getting them versus us losing the close games. And that's 100% true. But again, for me, it's like with Randle, this isn't just for Randle, I'll give Kemba the excuse. But for Randle, this isn't an excuse, because he was doing this last year.
He was doing what last year?
Listen, these ISO plays in the last few minutes of the game, which he wasn't clutching.
But see, this is where I disagree about last night.
Disagree.
I
Sam.
disagree.
I take this, Sam.
He was. Yeah, 1 second, Evergreen. I'll get you in there. He was getting the ball, but he was also spraying it out in that fourth quarter. He was spraying it out.
No, Sam. Yes, he was. So, Sam, yes, he was. He was doing great jobs moving the ball. But when it came down to the last few minutes of him, backing up Lonzo, and you could see, I'm sorry, Sam, I've seen it coming when he kept backing up Lonzo, and Lonzo was going to eventually poke the ball out or eventually get a steal. It was going to happen because he kept doing the most predictable
I just
thing.
gotta disagree. Lonzo, whoa, calm down. Lonzo fouled him several times. He kicked the ball out several times down the stretch. Let me get the Evergreen.
Listen, Isaiah, full of crap. First of all.
Oh wow, okay, all right.
Here's why. Before the big breakdown of Vucevic hitting that 3, remember there was a timeout called on Chicago's end, and there was a big adjustment made. Right, there was a broken play. Vucevic hits the 3. Now the ball's coming the other way. During that timeout, you can clearly tell that Tom Thibodeau's goal was, we're gonna run the clock out and we're gonna try to see what we can get in the paint. And this is where all the pinch post plays started being made. The reason they kept going to Julius Randle is because Lonzo Ball started guarding him heavy. Now, as a power forward, one of the best scoring power forwards in the game right now, if you put a guard on you, you take that ball every single time, which is why they went back and forth to him 4 times.
Evergreen, but you got to
Let him finish.
Granted, Lonzo Ball played extremely good defense on him, but as a coach, you run that through him time and time again. Granted, they'd even been running the ball through Julius Randle in the pinch post pretty much all game. But the difference was the ball was getting kicked out. Now that Julius Randle has got Lonzo Ball on him, the new goal is still run the clock out, but let's try to get a point with it. And he just wasn't converting because Lonzo Ball was playing good defense.
Hold on, Andy, can I say one thing before you go, Andy? One thing. Thanks, Andy. I appreciate you. No, so Evergreen, I know when you say point guard, let's be clear. Lonzo is a point guard, but he's also 6'7". Like him and Randle are literally almost the same height. And I don't know how far his wingspan goes. I think Lonzo has a really good wingspan. I forgot, but it's not like he's a 6'2" point guard now that like Lonzo and that Julius Randle's getting guarded by. Lonzo is a great, probably one of the best young defenders in the league.
Sure.
He has great length and has that stuff. My thing was, but again, to me, and this is to me has been an issue with Randle since last year. In the last few minutes or clutch time, whatever clutch time, I think clutch time is defined by 2 minutes or less. Around that time, he just hasn't been there, and to me is a continuing trend that the ISO Julius Randle has just not gotten us to where we got to go. Again, when Randle was moving the ball during the game, he was killing it. We were doing the right things. We had the big lead, but what we do, again, when we got to the last few minutes, we started panicking. We went back to ISO Julius to try to get him some buckets. And yes, it was working a little bit with Lonzo, but he was finally getting the free throws and everything. But again, we stopped moving the ball.
But you're saying that's where blame on Julius Randle as if it was Julius Randle who made the decision to do that. It was Tom Thibodeau. So don't get mad at Julius.
No. Wait, hold on. How many times does Sim say that you can tell a player to do this, but when you're in the game, when you're on the floor, you don't always listen to what the coach says.
Okay, now I got you. That is a fair point that Sim makes all the time, right? Now, if you put Julius Randle in that situation where he's got a different person who he's been exposing Patrick Williams in the paint all game. Now he's got a new guy on him, and he's the guy that's the closer. You think he's not going to take that shot? You think he's not going to do what the coach tells him to do? Of course he's going to do that. So again, he's doing what the coach is telling him to do. It was until the last 15 seconds of the game where Kemba Walker says, you know what, I'm going to try to do something now because clearly what we had been doing hasn't been working, which while I commend him for taking the opportunity to take the shot, it was clearly a bad drive and a bad shot that he took. But at least we didn't go back to the same exact thing over and over and over again. We did it 4 times. It didn't work. Time for something different. We got 13 seconds left on the clock. What do? I run the clock out. I drive. It doesn't work.
There's a part. Hold on. Let me jump in here. So
I'm sorry, Andy. I didn't mean to take all your time. I'm sorry, Andy.
Going on. I'm going to read off the last 2 minutes and what happened during the last 2 minutes of the game. All right, because the Knicks, with 2 minutes and 59 seconds left, the Knicks were up 104-91. Randle makes a putback layup to put us up 104-91. Okay. The next shot that we take, Randle missed a turnaround fadeaway. That was almost an entire minute later. All right, because Fournier got a block. RJ Barrett got a rebound. Randle misses a fadeaway. Robinson gets fouled. RJ Barrett misses a 3-point jump shot. Let's see this go. Fournier misses a 3-point jump shot. This is with 1:28 left. All right. Rebound by Mitchell Robinson at 1:25. Missed jump shot by RJ Barrett at 1:15. Violation on Julius Randle for a kickball. All right, the Knicks at this point are still up 7 points, 104-97. Evan Fournier misses a 3-point jump shot. Now, all of these 3-point jump shots are coming from Julius Randle getting the ball in the post and kicking it out to these players. Okay, now, in this last minute of time, Randle's taking one shot. He had a missed turnaround fadeaway at 2 minutes and 19 seconds. The next shot is RJ Barrett for 3. The next shot is Evan Fournier for 3. The next shot is wait, let me finish. The next shot is RJ Barrett, a 14-foot jump shot. The next shot is Evan Fournier, a 25-foot 3-point jump shot.
But Sam, you're not putting. See, what you're doing. You're listening on what happened, but are you putting in context what was happening?
I just said to you that the ball was going to Julius Randle in the post. He was kicking it out to open shooters.
So he was pounding the ball in the paint. I watched the same game as you, bro. He was pounding the ball.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. I need you to relax a little bit. I know you got good sound, but you got to bring it down. So
I'm
let me ask
not gonna lie. The sound is good today.
how did
Sound is good
like
today.
he's taking orders at Joe's Rat
Yeah.
Shack or something.
how
No, it's no Evergreen. Stop it, because when Kev has this stuff, nobody makes fun of him. Don't do that.
So let me ask
Oh no,
you.
we
Let me
make
ask
fun
you.
of him.
Let me ask you, Isaiah. How
Yes, sir.
is R.J. Barrett and Evan Fournier getting these open jump shots? How are they getting these open jump shots?
Yes, they would double teaming Julius Randle.
He was kicking it out to them, and they were
But
open.
what do you think? What these shots rush? Was it because again, I'm watching it. We would get the ball most of those possessions. Julius Randle was pounding the ball till it was like what, maybe 5 seconds left. Then he kicked it out. You got to
Because
put
it was
that in
designed that way to run the clock, Isaiah.
But
They're running the clock for a reason. We were up by 13.
Evergreen, hold
Run
on.
the clock.
Evergreen,
What are you
I
talking about?
Evergreen, I understand it, but the momentum was going back on their side because again, when the Knicks were missing those shots, what did they do on the other side? We kept getting them and ones, fouling, stopping their clock.
But that's
So
not
again,
the point you're making. The point you're making is that going to Julius Randle was not working when in fact it
But
was
Sim,
working. They
Sim, but-
received open shots that they did not make. Most of the time, Fournier, Barrett will probably make those shots. Randle also went to the foul line. Now he missed 2 free throws down the end, but what they did actually did work. Let me get to Andy. Andy, go ahead.
Yes, listen, I was raising my hand because I wanted to chime in, like Isaiah and Evergreen went at it. I don't know if they recognized they had just a few seconds to say hi, but they already broke down the whole topic by topic that we had set up like 20 minutes before the show. So I wanted to chime in on that also.
I'm sorry.
Listen, if we already screwed up the whole schedule of the show,
Yeah, we did.
For me, yeah, I understand the Julius Randle play, the ISO play, and stuff like that. My question is, it's only 5 games in. Almost every team that we played through smaller defenders at Julius, and that's 1, maybe by design, or 2, maybe because they just don't have guys as big or as strong as Julius Randle at the power forward position, right? Then again, for me as a coach or as a player, if I'm Julius Randle, I want to get the ball lower in the post if I have that kind of an advantage. And he's getting the ball like free throw line extended, which he has to take a dribble. And as a big man, you don't want to take a dribble in front of a smaller defender. That's why I don't understand. I understand that he can score over those guys, right? But if he would get the ball lower down on the block, he still would have a way more bigger advantage than we're getting it up higher, right? And I understand that he would have less passing lanes from low down in the block, but listen, I wouldn't be afraid of him taking those fallback, jumpers and going at the rim versus smaller guys.
But Andy,
Now I'm questioning Randle a little bit. Since we were 4-1, I'm not gonna do it like really officially on every show, but this is starting to get on my nerves as well.
But Andy, my thing is, Andy, though, is that I'm sorry. I mean, some can say that he doesn't see. I've seen it since last year. Those last few minutes with Julius Randle and the decision making, not just shots. I'm not gonna say shots. The decision making with Julius Randle in the last clutch minutes isn't good. Sometimes his IQ isn't there.
That's proven in the numbers, so you don't have to defend yourself.
Yeah,
He's not producing maybe in the numbers, but the other guy's scoring comes from him passing off the ball.
Yeah.
So I understand it both sides, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not gonna knock Julius. And listen, I always look at the game from a perspective as if I was a teammate of his, I would be mad at him a couple of times because listen, he sometimes he just gets the ball and he just tries to pound it down low. Why not just set up lower and then get the ball, right?
I'll
Let's
explain
work
why.
for him. and he has an advantage there.
No,
So
see,
it does work
I,
for him. Go ahead, Sam. I'm sorry.
well, see, I agree that he should get the ball lower. I do agree that they shouldn't go to him 4 and 5, 6 times in a row.
yeah,
Right? It should be, okay, I went to Julius Randle once, I went to Julius Randle twice. Maybe we got something, maybe we didn't. If we going to him once, twice, and he's scoring, then you keep going to him. If you don't get any production out of it, then you go to the other side of the floor. See what you can get from the other side of the floor, right? But when you actually stop and you go and you look at what happened in those last 2 minutes, I mean, there were other guys getting shots and open shots, and I just went and looked at some of the replay, and it wasn't all off of Randle. Some of it was Evan Fournier received a handoff from Kemba Walker. You got to go back. You got to go back and look at it. In the midst of a game, you see one thing. When you go back and look at it and actually look at the play-by-play and see what's going on, you may see something else. Steph, I want to get your thoughts on this right here. Isaiah, you're not the only person on the panel, bro. We got a lot of people here. Let's get talk, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fair point on both sides. Like, I agree with you, Sim. He's our best player. There's going to be some ISO situations where he's going to have the ball. That's just how the NBA is. Your best players do get those ISO situations when you need a bucket. So, and that's fine. The difference in that last 5 minutes than in the first game is that he moved the ball. When he got it, he moved it earlier in the clock. In the fourth quarter, when he got it, he passed, but he dribbled it all the way down before he either took a shot or he passed. And maybe that was by design, like Evergreen was saying, to run the clock out. But I'm saying, just like he did in the first 3 quarters, he got the ball. Either he made a quick shot or he made a quick pass. You could do the same thing, and you can still get the ball back. They can either come back to you. They can swing it to the other side. You can cross over. You can get it there. But there's still some movement. He's just holding it and dribbling it till like 5 seconds left in the clock before he's making a move. And I think it was static. I don't think that's why we lost the game, though. I think that decision not to pull it out when he got the offensive rebound, I think missing the 2 free throws, I think Burks play us, and there was a lot of reasons why it came down to a 1-game win, a 1-point win. That wasn't just on Randle, but I do think he can do a little better job in the last few minutes of the game of passing it to whoever he's going to pass it to earlier in the shot clock.
Yeah.
Also, remember, guys,
Mm-hmm.
that Donovan, right? Billy Donovan, Coach Donovan, is the orchestrator of the exact defense that Atlanta used against us. Because remember, last year we were worried about that Chicago game, and I'm pretty sure Donovan was coaching that time, right? He's the one that designed that show and go defense in the paint against Julius Randle. They did the same exact thing to him yesterday, which is why Julius Randle wasn't really that successful on the boards. He was getting hacked and fouled, and that's why he got to the line 9 times, right? And was 7 for 8 before his last 2 foul shots. So what Julius Randle was getting in the paint, it wasn't successful all game. So getting the ball at the pinch post was the best thing that he could do in order to do Tom Thibodeau's patented facilitation that he used with Joakim Noah way back in the day, right? So again, we're looking at Julius Randle because he's the star of the game. He's the guy that's going to get the ball, right? He's a guy that's going to be making the primary moves. And also, we didn't lose this game. I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, we
right?
won. Yeah.
We didn't lose this game.
Evergreen.
Hold on, Isaiah. Let him finish. You'll get your chance.
So my point in being is that you can look at it. You can look at the whole strategy from the first 2 minutes of the game and see where Tom Thibodeau made the legitimate offensive adjustments, which caused for Julius Randle to be the pinch post passing guy. And now it's just, we're going to do the pinch post passing, but we're just going to run the clock. That's how I looked at it. Run the clock. We were up 13 at the time. run the clock as much as possible, and try to get buckets at the last minute. The problem is we just weren't converting. Wide open shots just weren't falling down. And now it gets highlighted and over, we're going to over gloss it. And now it looks even worse that this happened because Alec Burks has no clue to how to pass the ball into the paint or get the ball in from the sideline. So now everything that the star did that didn't convert, it looks bad on him. When in reality, like, this was a whole team crumbling. It wasn't just Julius Randle has got to take the blame. So I don't think
the free throws in that offensive rebound was significant, and that was all on him.
They were.
That was
I'll definitely agree with that. Like you said, Steph, the rebound and those 2 free throws definitely on him. And listen, I'm gonna say this. Look, again, we're gonna argue this. This is probably gonna be a topic all season about how we feel about Julius Randle and the clutchness. I just think his basketball IQ just goes really down on those last few minutes when it comes to him making smart decision making, and also too. This part of this is on Thibs. Part of this is also on Kemba Walker a little bit because, again, to me, this is concerning when it's in 5 games. And I know everything's new, but then this is twice in 5 games that we've had leads with a few minutes left, and we, again, almost lost these games. Now, this won't always come our way, and this is things you got to prevent from happening because, again, this is 82 games. There's going to be some times where stuff like this won't be preventable. We won't be happy because you're going to have players like Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, all these elite shooters that can make these shots if we keep squandering leads like this, if we keep doing this.
You're
Again,
right.
this should be
This whole segment by saying we're 5 games into the season. We got 2 new starters, 1 guy who only played 30-something games last season. There's a lot for this starting unit to learn. They're going to learn how to play in the clutch. They're going to learn who to go to and win, right? Just like last year, the offense was very, very simple because they had a limited amount of time in training camp. So they kept things really, really simple. You see it getting more expansive this year, or they're expanding it. I don't know if I said that correctly. They're expanding it this year. Going into the clutch, Tom Thibodeau, I think, is going to go with what he knows right now until he's more comfortable with Kemba, with Evan Fournier, and we'll probably see it get expanded a little bit more. We got to give it time for it to grow.
no. And Sim,
So,
no, Sim,
we're ending it right there. I just said we're going to end it right there.
I just
now.
agree with you.
Cool. Great. You could have gave me a thumbs up because we're going to end it right there or we'll go on forever. Kemba Walker. We were just talking about Kemba Walker. He had 21 points last night. You know, I've been on record saying I didn't know if what he did versus Philadelphia was going to be sustainable. I did hope that he was going to go on a run. Last night, he shot the ball well again from 3, 83% from the 3-point line. For Kemba Walker last night, 50 whatever percent from the field. He had 21 points, played a good basketball game. Andy, is he getting more and more comfortable with playing with RJ, playing with Randle? You see him and Randle, or Randle starting to find him, across the court. I get a little nervous with those cross-court passes, but, starting to find him passing the ball across the court, finding him in other areas, with handoffs and things like that, looking for him a little bit. Is Kemba Walker getting more and more comfortable in his offense, playing with RJ Barrett and Julius
This
Randle?
is a definitely, a great situation for Kemba. And vice versa, it's a great situation for the Knicks because for the contract that he has, we can easily compare him to the point guard that we had last year in Elfrid Payton. And, as much as Elfrid Payton was a better defender, on the offensive end, I don't think we can, put him in the same sentence even. He can knock down the 3 and he can knock down them, those threes in bunches. He can score off the dribble, off the pick and roll, of the screens. It's such a huge variety that when every bucket he scores, I'm like thinking, man, Elfrid couldn't do this last season. Every bucket he makes, I'm like, this is what we were missing last season. So for me, it's a huge advantage, and I really understand that on defense he gives up way more than Alfred. And it's not even a question. And I don't think any Knicks fan, any Kemba Walker fan like evergreen, I don't think even he can debate it, bro, on defense. But on offense, it's I rather have Kemba than Alfred. I'm not gonna lie, and I like Alfred at the beginning of his contract with the Knicks. So I'm really happy. And like we saw, this game, which we didn't see even the game before. He started to find Mitch on the alley oops.
Mm-hmm.
He's stretching the floor, like you said, because of Julius having that open lane to pass, which is a cross court pass, which is a scary pass. And Clyde mentions this every time he sees it in an NBA game, no matter if it's the Knicks passing or it's another team passing, that pass shouldn't be made and should be available. But if it goes through and if it's a bucket, man, what else do you want, from the team? So I'm really happy with Kemba on this situation.
Yeah, Steph, what's your thoughts right now? We've seen 2 games in a row. Kemba's looking good. Starting to, just I think play without thinking as much, and that's always going to be better for him and better for the team. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I agree with Andy. I think it's just a net positive. I think we're just going to have to accept that he's not a great defender, and it's not for lack of trying. That's just, it's just his size. And we just have to accept that and just know that, what he brings on the offensive end is just going to outweigh the defense. And if there's ever a time where it's really, really bad, we can just sub in.
Right.
We could just sub in Rose, and Rose would play more minutes. But I think Kemba has to get more than 20 minutes a game. I was afraid, if you remember, that he was going to be in that Alfred Payton role, like 5 minutes in the first quarter, 5-6 minutes in the third, and that would be it. And I thought that would definitely lower our ceiling. But I think him playing the way he's playing, if he's able to keep it up, makes the Knicks makes us, the Knicks, a very dangerous team.
Yeah, definitely. Big shout out to CT Pittman. He said, my last comment before the show ended yesterday was cohesion. We saw that for 3.5 quarters last night, and it's the NBA, folks. It's win by any means necessary. I expect mistakes the first few weeks of the season. Yeah, I agree with you.
I agree.
Big time, CT. You're going to expect mistakes. The good thing is that we're winning while we're making those mistakes. So hopefully we have a chance to correct those mistakes as we move forward in the season. Cornerstone Kev, what's going on with you, man? How you feeling?
You're muted. Come on, Kev.
Cornerstone.
Yeah. Here we go. What is happening?
What's up with you, brother? How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling great. Salute to the chat. Salute to Mr. Andy, Miss Stephanie, and the Debbie Downer, Mr. Isaiah, Big Bubba. Big Bubba. I'm gonna stay on point. On point because
Okay.
because nothing would please me more than to just unload on this individual. But I'm not gonna do that.
Wait.
No. I'm not gonna do
Keep
it.
it there, Kev. We're talking about Kemba. We talking about Kemba.
That's why we're talking about Kemba. I'm loving everything. I'm loving everything Kemba is doing. I think these last 2 games have been his coming out party.
Mm-hmm.
He's giving us what Alfred. Well, I know it's been said, but he's giving us what Alfred wasn't giving us. Not so much in points, but in chemistry, because he's finding people. He's finding everybody if the pass is there, and that's something that Alfred wasn't doing. So I'm loving everything Kemba's doing right now, and I think it's only going to get better once the season keeps progressing.
Yeah.
And for anyone that's really upset about what happened in the last 2 minutes, we're 4-1, man. Come on, give it a break. That's all I got to say.
And with Kemba, he's just got way better floor vision than Alfred Payton, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And as far as like what Andy was saying with the offensive and defensive thing, I mean, coming into this game, the Knicks were averaging 118.8 points per game and giving up 109.8. Right? So
Right.
that's almost a
Right.
10-point differential between what you're giving up and
Right.
what you're scoring, So,
Right.
if you got to give up a little bit on the defensive side to be able to score the basketball better, that's what you do. That's what the Knicks did.
Exactly. And I forget the stat that Alan Hahn had put up, but he's taken I don't know how many threes right now and converted. Alfred Payton took, I think, what,
2 seasons
24. 2 seasons. Exactly, Andy. 2 seasons. So if you can't see the change now, I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't know what you're seeing. I really don't.
Yeah. Well, Kemba Walker, listen, he's getting comfortable. Let's hope that it continues to go that way because, it's going to preserve Derrick Rose.
Which I think it will.
It's going to preserve both of them. The better Kemba can play, and Rose, obviously, it's going to preserve their knees because then they can literally share time, share 48 minutes. That's about 24 minutes apiece. Some nights going to be, slanted one way or the other, right? But if Kemba, let's just say, wasn't really playing well, Rose had to continuously play 31 minutes, 32 minutes.
Right.
It wouldn't have worked well.
It wouldn't bode well for us. It wouldn't bode well at all.
Well.
And I will say on the pick and roll with Kemba, all options are open.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Available to us,
Yes.
as opposed to when we had Peyton.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, we're not handicapped. We're not handicapped at all now. We're not.
Okay, Kev, shut up. I was going to say.
Simple. You see what he did? Now I was being on my best behavior and he tells me to shut up.
Kev,
What the
Kev,
heck,
first of all,
man? Really?
I don't know. Either you got fired or you're the last person to leave the office. But I'll never see nobody. To me, one of the best things. I mean, one of the best
nobody
indicators
at
that
his
you.
job. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, first of all, I'm not going to tell you what I work at, but no.
Just do this right here. We know what it is.
bro.
That's all you are.
You got the red
right
polo
there.
on.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Andy said I work at Circuit City. Circuit City has been discontinued in America for I don't know how many years now.
Yeah, probably 15.
Right.
No, but
Come on, Isaiah. We know you're using your job's headphones and whatnot, so you better get it out before the boss comes through.
I know, yeah.
And says what you're doing with those headphones.
First of all, I'm the boss here. Don't get this.
Okay, all right.
I'm the boss here.
Okay, that's what's up. Congratulations.
Come on.
That's what's up.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that, man.
Do we know he's the boss? Can we get some
Yeah, I think he is.
clarification?
I think
Well, first of all, Kev, we know you ain't the boss. You look like the janitor right now. That's still in somebody.
The janitor. Wow.
Ain't
Wow.
nothing wrong being a janitor.
At least I'm in the office, Bubba.
I ain't gonna say.
All right. Go ahead. Isaiah. Go ahead.
But no, to me, so Sim, to me, the best indication to see Evan.
Kemba.
What's his name? Alfred Payton.
Oh.
He's on the bench for the Suns. He's playing minimum minutes for the Suns, nothing major.
Oh, he's not backing him up?
If I'm not mistaken,
Payne is injured with a hamstring.
Oh,
so I think he's getting more minutes now.
so he might be getting more minutes. But I mean, I'm not gonna say. I mean, they're 1-3. Not saying that's his fault. But listen, you see what Kemba's at. You see these last 2 games, man, have been a great introduction for him because I think he was nervous. He was clearly nervous the opening game. Clearly nervous.
Yeah.
He's getting his footing in. He's getting comfortable with the 3-man. And listen, we don't know how long he's going to sustain that percentage. I think he's shooting 58. Is that D Rose? D Rose shooting like a crazy percentage right now. But they're both shooting a great percentage right now. Like you said, Steph, the pick and rolls there. This is a major upgrade again to me. Listen, I said it before. If we can get like a Raymond Felton production in 2010 before he got traded, that would be perfect for Kemba for this team that we got from Raymond Felton. But I think he can actually exceed that because
I think he's better. But
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, Raymond Felton averaged like 17 and almost 10 before he got traded. But no, man, what Kemba's doing right now is great. And like you said, he's opening up everything for us. And this is a new dynamic that we really haven't had in a very, like, honestly, I can't remember the last time we had a point guard like this. And he's only getting better. Listen, he had that homemade soup on the plane.
Yeah.
I knew it was over. He had the homemade soup. It was over.
And you know the thing about it also, Isaiah, is that when he shoots, you know it's going in.
Listen, Kev, I'll be honest with you.
It looks good. Let's just say that it looks good.
Yeah,
it looks good.
Well,
it looks good. It looks good.
When I was watching it, I'll be honest with you, though, Kev. When I was watching the game last night, I I wasn't like, oh crap, Mitchell Robinson got to get the rebound. Like, when he gets on that pick and roll, when he does his little, the little hand and gets to like the mid range shot, I'm confident it's gonna go in. I haven't been this confident with a point guard releasing the ball in a very long time where I think it's gonna go in. So again,
all right,
it's only gonna get better.
Andy, I want to come around you. A question that we have is, when we were looking at a few things to talk about, watching the telecast. If you were watching, I was watching it on NBA TV. They had the Chicago Bulls analyst talking, and he said the intelligence quotient between both of these two teams are very high, right? Meaning both of these two teams play with a high basketball IQ. For the Knicks, who's the player on the Knicks with the highest IQ, do you think?
Sim, I'm prepared for the slander on this topic.
Who's gonna be?
And I know Gmo is gonna be proud of me, but I'm gonna stand behind my man Evan Fournier. Yeah. But listen, it's not only because he takes the shots in right moments and stuff like that. He basically looks to be incorporated in the offense and try to build chemistry really fast with these guys. He was one of the first guys that was looking for Mitch on the alley-oop plays. He was taking only wide open threes. I was scared that we're gonna see games, and even we only played 5 games, right? I was thinking that in these 5 games we might see 2 games that he's gonna be probably taking a little bit, that he's maybe not a little bit too much shots, but he's gonna be trigger happy, right? And for a shooting guard, the saying is that you gotta, shoot out of a struggle, whatever. For Fournier, that thing, I don't think that exists. I think he really, if he's not feeling that he's gonna make the shot, he's gonna be looking for the pass more and more. So I'm really happy that, he is playing the way that he is playing, because it's totally different than even I was, suggesting that he would be doing. I'm happy, and I really think that it's not far-fetched that he might be one of the most intelligent basketball players on the current Knicks squad.
Okay, I agree with you. I think that he probably does have the highest basketball IQ. Now, does his athleticism match the basketball IQ for him to be, this great player? Probably not, but I think he does have a very high basketball IQ. I really do like the way he plays within the offense. Within the offense, he doesn't, try to do anything outside of what he can do. I also think Derrick Rose has a pretty high basketball IQ too.
Yeah, I was going to say, but we saw even the last game, he was just running up the court and he jumped and he was looking for the pass back then. And listen, that's one of the most boneheaded plays. If you're dribbling, you jump and you try to look for the pass. You mean Derrick when Rose? You're in the air, right?
You mean Derrick Rose? Yeah. It bothers me when he does that. I hate when he does that.
And he does it basically every game, but the passes make the target, so you can't be mad about it.
But he does it purposely, because I remember listening to him in one interview, and he was talking about players understanding each other's tendencies. And he said he had to tell someone, I don't remember who it was, that I'm going to jump in the air and then I'm going to see who I have, what's available to me when I jump in the air. That's his style. Steph?
I was also going to say, I'm sorry, Steph. Oh, my God, look at me.
Yeah, I was going to say we have a few players with a high IQ. Let's not underestimate how smart you look when everybody is not keying on you. Right. Mm-hmm. So, how smart you look when you're not the number one option. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's less pressure on you. You know what I mean? We don't know how any of these guys would perform in the clutch if they were the number one guy on the team. We don't even know how many of these guys can carry a team, and be the number one. So as much as we do get on Randle for the mistakes that he makes, it's not easy to be the number one option on a team and come through for a team. And he got us to the 4th seed last year pretty much by himself. I mean, he had some help, but he was the clear number one, and that's not easy. So I think we have a lot of players with good basketball IQ. I mean, I would pick Rose, but I do think Fournier, I think Kemba. Doesn't mean you're not going to make mistakes.
Right.
You know, you can have a good basketball IQ and still make mistakes, right? So I think Kemba also has good basketball IQ. Taj, you know, I think we have a lot of guys on this team with good basketball IQ. But if I had to pick one, it would be, yeah, I guess between Rose and Fournier.
Yeah, and you know that basketball IQ, when we talk about the defense and what we might have lost in, you know, Peyton and Bullock on the defensive side, the basketball IQ on this team, I think, probably more than makes up for it. You know, the additions of Fournier and Kemba, you know, it really does, I think, make up for it. Because then even on the defensive side, you know, knowing that they may lack some ability, they can probably use their basketball IQ to help make up for some of that, at least and hopefully in clutch moments, you know, when we get farther down the line in the season, you know. Big Bubba, your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I think for me, I'm going to go with Taj. I think Taj has the highest basketball IQ on the team.
Right.
I think it's him, Evan Fournier, D Rose. I think those are the top three. But I got to go with Taj, man. Taj does so much like little stuff, man, that it just will never show on stat paper. Right. I mean, even last night, the effort that I seen last night, him on the floor, man, I was scared for him. I'm like, come on, Taj. But no, man, he does a lot of the things that we need. He sets good screens. He's always there on defense. He has tough assignments, man. You're asking a 37-year-old, 38-year-old to still guard some of these young athletic centers, man. Because I seen it even with the Philadelphia game with him guarding Embiid. You know, he had to guard Vucevic. I mean, the blow by Zach LaVine, that's just normal. The kid's like 25. But man, what Todd Gibson does, man, I got to give it to him. It's just, to me, he's just smart. He's the highest basketball IQ on his team, next to Evan Fournier and D Rose.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. To play at his age, you know, it takes learning how to pace yourself when you're on the floor. You know, understanding when to use energy, when not to use energy, you know, how to use angles and all those type of things. You got to be really, really intelligent to, you know, as far as basketball wise, you know, to be able to make those decisions on the fly, on the floor. Yeah, I mean, it bodes well that you got so many guys with a high basketball IQ on this team. Kev?
For me, it's Kevin Knox. That's who no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I was about to mute you. I was about to mute you.
I'm just
kidding. That sweater too tight. That's why he was thinking.
You're lucky that you can even look at this sweater. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, Sim, I apologize for that. My three, really, honestly, I'm gonna go both Derrick Rose, Evan Fournier, and Kemba. I'm gonna go those three because and I'll go Taj as well because you could just see it. I feel as though that we really should be 5-0, because of it. But we took our foot off the gas and everything. I just think their IQs are just, for this team right now, I just think they're off the chart right now. So
yeah. All right.
That's why I enjoy it.
Okay, I'm going to get to a couple of phone calls, and then when we come back, I want to talk about who your player of the game was last night. All right, I do want to remind people that this show is brought to you by SeatGeek, and if you use the code NBK on your first purchase, you'll get $20 off of that purchase, as long as it's a $50 purchase, which if you're buying tickets to a Knicks game, you probably can't sweep the floor for $50. All right. So remember, SeatGeek. There's a link in the description of the video. Use the code NBK, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get to a phone call. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from.
Hey, Sam. What's up? It's JP.
Hey, JP. How you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Pretty good. How you feeling? We're 4-1, top of the East. How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. It's just that watching these games are a little... Yeah, got the hypertension, man. The hypertension.
Right.
But
no.
I'm not as young as I used to be. So, but it comes with the territory.
Yeah.
So I mean, the panel has done a phenomenal job with making the different points. So I'm kind of gonna make this short. I have 2 points that I want to post to the chat, and I want to mention something about RJ. Do you think that there's enough sample size out there in regards to Julius Randle with these free throws at the end of the game to the point where Thibodeau could actually say, if we're posed with that situation again, where we're either down by a point or up by a point and becomes a free throw game, he just wants his best free throw shooters out there. And even though Julius may have a high free throw percentage, we all know that, he's starting to show us, he's starting to put enough sample size out there that, he may miss those.
Yeah.
It's too early in the season. I am not by no means, I'm not jumping out the window or nothing. I'm just saying from a strategic standpoint, do you think that that's something that we need to be concerned about? Because, he's been, last night was a big game. We're playing Chicago, undefeated team in Chicago with this Noah night and everything. So the emotions and the tensions were high in that building. And I'm quite sure it's not easy to have to shoot free throws in that type of environment and that type of situation. So by no means am I bashing, Julius Randle at all. But do you think it gets to the point where we may have to start considering something like that?
Well, I think that, Julius Randle has shown time and time again that, he gets a little nervous in those situations and, misses one, misses two. The problem is he's of the group that's normally on the floor, he's probably the best person to create contact and get to the line. Now, if you're talking about a situation where that they're going to foul,
that's it. I think that it's starting to the point where he's putting enough sample size out there that everyone knows he gets nervous in these type of situations, so they may be gunning for him.
Right. So if I'm Tom Thibodeau, I probably still have him on the floor, but I'm trying to get the ball to Kemba or Fournier or Rose, one of those guys. Trying to get it to them.
And I hear you. Also, can I address Burks for a quick second?
Yeah.
I like Burks. I think I have to be honest with you. It's too early for me to be bashing any of these players. They've done well. I think we're still trying to gel. The fact that we're 4-1, winning games, and not fully, we're not clicking yet. It's a good thing because we all know that, this is a long season, so these games tend to balance itself out. I think Andy made the point earlier that, we had a bunch of games last season where we lost with less than 5 points. So I'm taking all the wins I can get and I'm running with it. I'm not complaining. But Brooks, it's quite obvious that he's not very good at inbounding the ball. And he did it a couple times last year again, and I don't understand why Thibodeau keeps putting him in that situation. We have to have someone that could be able to inbound that ball. The fact that we had to burn that timeout yesterday, and then even after the timeout, he barely got the ball in. It was crazy.
Yeah, no, I think
as a coach, that must drive you. That has to drive you nuts. It just does.
Yeah, you got to have somebody who can really pass the basketball in those situations because teams are playing pressure defense. They're denying all over the floor. They're holding. They're grabbing. The refs, got their eyes wide shut. You know what I mean? So it's very hard to inbound the basketball in those situations. So you've got to have someone who's smart. You got to have someone who can pass, but you also got to have players who can get open. You got to be able to set good screens. All of those things count. And
I only pose that because it's not the first time he's actually done something like that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sitting here calling to bash anyone, like I said.
Yeah.
And then RJ, so I believe it was Wednesday or Tuesday rather, someone on your pre-show, someone had called and mentioned that, obviously it seems as if they weren't a fan of RJ's game and they posed they want to trade him for for Wiggins, right? And I'm like, look, I get, RJ doesn't have that flashy, loud game like a Zion or, let's say, John Morant, for example. But he's a very fundamentally sound. He's just. I don't think people realize, like, we actually drafted a guy that has the potential to be a two-way player, and it's how many teams out there could actually say that they have one of those? You know what I mean?
Right.
He's a guy. He's a very young guy. Yeah, I don't have to worry about him. He represents the team very well. He represents himself very well. I think a lot of times when you draft a young guy, it's about the points and stuff, and it's not about that. Like, this guy, throughout his whole career, I think he only missed one game. You can't say that about, let's say, for example, Zion. This is Zion's third year, and this is the third straight year going into the season. He has not been available to play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt.
And when the Knicks are drafting, since you're drafting in a market such as this, you have to find somebody who could represent themselves well, perform. I'm quite sure it's very hard for RJ. So I'm not, I'm listening to what Tim says. He's not worried about RJ one bit, and neither am I. I mean, Thibodeau is. I'm not going to say he doesn't like young guys, but in order for him to give you praise, he has to see something within you, and he likes that guy. And shout out to RJ, because it must be difficult for him. I mean, when last season going into season, you would say that Randle would be our number one option. He would be our number two option. But then I guess when they traded for Rose, you can argue whether he was the second or third option.
Right. And with RJ, I think RJ is RJ is kind of like an amoeba. I like to use that term, especially with young players, because that means they're sucking up information and learning all the time. And I think RJ is always, you can see it. You've seen it last year where he was, he started off not shooting the ball well, and then he started shooting the ball well. And you can see little parts of his game, how he was growing and developing throughout the season. And, I think it's going to be much of the same this year. Let me get to one more phone call, and then I want to come back and see what you guys' player of the game is. All right. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from. And big shout out to JP. Thank you for the call.
Hey, guys. My name is Drayton Jordan from Harlem.
What's going on, man? How you feeling?
Good. Listen, I'm glad that Kemba had a good game, because I'm an old school guy. I've looked the Knicks since the 60s. Used to be a guard, played basketball on the record the whole nine. I know point guards. I know how their body language is. And I'm going to be honest with you, I was a little nervous with Kemba with the first couple of games, because I felt like he wasn't able to get past anybody. He was like a little slow. So these two last games of his was very encouraging, because I really, really, be honest with you, don't expect too much from Kemba, because he's not an Iverson type guard and all that, which I like, but he's a steady, like somebody said, he's a stable and steady guard, and he has a good IQ, and he's one of the guards back in the days when we used to play ball, because I actually met him through my daughter. My daughter used to date him when they used to go to high school, because he was the right. My daughter went to Mother Cabrini, which is the sister school of his, and she told me, this guy named Kemba Walker? I said, who's Kemba Walker? And I met him through her. So, but I know Kemba's game. Like, Kemba's like a general, like like a straight up general point guard, where he could move the ball around, he could be stable, and then you got to worry about him making that shot. So I'll start shot. So I'm happy with his game. It gave me a little encouragement, because let me be honest with you, I was a little nervous about Kemba, a little skeptical. My other point is this. I know people love Randle, and I like him. He gives us something that, we didn't have in a minute. But 2 points I want to make about Randle. please, Randle, if you can hear this, you don't have no handle. He swear he got like a handle, like he bring it up and everything. He's always gets stripped in that middle. When Randle brings that ball in that middle, he makes me nervous because his options, like, he runs out of options. You can see him get a little nervous. And so I want him to understand, like, I don't like when Randle brings up the ball like he's the man. He's not a point forward, and like, it's like his demeanor is like, like, I got this. No, you do not got this. You could be stripped anytime. It's like, his handle's not ready for that. And that's the one point that I want to make. The other point is, look, I work with the Knicks. I'm on the Knicks 7-Ever squad. I've been there since 2012. When the same time, like, Randle hogs the ball too much for me. I'm sorry. It's like he thinks he's like the only one who could score. When Carmelo Anthony did the same thing, everybody in New York complained. Carmelo handled the ball. If you look at the record and do your research, Randle holds the ball more than Carmelo had the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like how Melo hold the ball and he had the ball before he shot. Look at the research. Look at the tapes. Randle holds that ball too much and everybody's standing around. I like that stagnant. So those two things right there is my issues. And look, I'm a long-time diehard Knicks fan, all right? Since the 60s, all right? I remember seeing the championships. I love this team, the potential, but, just take my point. And and my other thing is this. I wish I love Mitch and I love what he brings, but Mitch has to be able to deal with those other guys like the Capellas and the guys from the centers from Miami. Those guys could shoot outside, so I want a little more from Mitch too. But I'll take what I got right now, and I'm loving the Knicks, and I'll sit back and listen to your guys' reply.
All right, I appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, OG, there you go.
The last thing that I want to say to you before you get off, my man.
I'm not going nowhere unless you hang up on me.
I gotta get you another phone call. I gotta get you another phone call, but you should have told your daughter to stick with Kemba. Anyway, my man, I appreciate your call. And on another note, Julius Randle's averaging 7 assists. Get to one more phone call here.
I'm just glad he didn't kill Kemba.
Call it, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from.
Sam, it's Spree. What's good?
What's good, Spree? What's going on with you, bro?
I'm good, man. I thought
What's up, Spree?
Randle did it. Oh, what's up, man? Happy birthday, Cornerstone. I know I'm a little late to the party, but happy birthday.
Hey,
Don't even worry about that. Don't even worry about that, Spree.
They'll have another one in about a month or so.
Yeah. That's like the third birthday that he's had this year already. So I don't know.
Okay. Hey, Spree, he don't got no friends. He just like the attention. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Spree.
Anyways, man, it's always a pleasure. Big Bubba, big fan of you, man. I know you're a character, so you're very entertaining. I enjoy listening to it. So I thought Randle played well for 3.5 quarters without shooting well. Sim, there were times watching the game again where he didn't even dribble, and he just surveyed and got rid of it without even taking a dribble once he caught it early in the game. Which I think he should do more of. Just once you catch it, I mean, you don't even have to dribble. Just survey the court and get rid of it. I mean, I'm not saying you can do that all the time. Sure, you got to dribble a little bit, but I thought he played a good game. Obviously, the end of the game was atrocious. We got to figure that out. It's early in the year. You find a way to win. I agree. I think Rose should be in the game down the stretch. Kemba, I mean, he's a little too loosey-goosey. He's a smaller guard. I agree with you, Sim, what you said last night. And I agree with Steph. I mean, look, this whole thing, we're going to eventually need Randle. Randle's a playmaker. It depends what the defense is throwing at him, Sim. They could change the defensive coverage within the game or in the playoffs after one game. They may stop doubling him. It just depends on the game. Just make the right read that night. And, my thing, though, is over the course of a playoff series, make no mistake about it, we're still going to need Julius Randle to score the basketball at a high level.
Yeah.
Regardless of what anybody thinks. Julius Randle, and when people ask me on the street, Sam, can Julius Randle be the best player on a championship team? I don't answer the question. I refuse to answer. You know why, Sam? Because it's too early. I'm not going to say no to that right now. I'm not. Yes, there's evidence last year, but all good players fail their first time in the playoffs. We have to help Sim. We have to help Julius this entire year to get him to the point where, I mean, how many decisions do you think he has to make within one game? 70? 50
Yeah.
decisions.
A lot.
So he's going to make mistakes. The key is, of those 50 decisions, Sim, can he get more of them right? He's got to get more of them right. He's got to get to that Giannis, Jokic decision. I know that's very hard to do, Sim. I know. I understand how hard it's going to be. But this is why we have to help him. We got to make it easy on him. He's got to make it easy on himself. I think he figured it out for the first 3.5 quarters last night. I don't know what he was doing. The coach got to do a better job. And yes, did he get rid of it sometimes, Sim, when you read the box score at times? Did he make the right play? Sure. But we got to figure out the end of the game. But it's a collective thing. Steph is right. It's not all on Randle. Everybody's got to be in their spot so that it's second nature to Julius. But we have to help him, because if we're going to win a championship, here's the bottom line. Yes, you need Mitch healthy, and he's got to stop falling to the ground. I don't know how we get rid of that. But we got to get Mitch healthy. We got to keep Kemba playing like this. But if Julius can just score at a high level when he has the matchup and just get rid of the ball, Sam, I think we have more depth in the Eastern Conference than any other team.
Well, I think we do too. I think we do too, man. Listen, we're 4-1.
Hey, Spree,
we're 4-1. Hold on, Kev. We're 4-1.
Okay.
We're finding our way while we're winning. So, I think that's big.
Real quick, do you guys think that we have more depth than Miami?
Yes.
Yeah.
Miami doesn't have
I think
a bench
so.
at all.
Yeah.
I mean, Miami, I like Miami's team. I just like how Scott Perry and the front office, we have depth, like, at every position you go down our roster. We are 2 or 3 deep where you can trust the next guy. And I honestly, of all the health things, Mitch to me is number one. The whole game changes if he is not with us this year. Yeah, you can put in Noel there, and Noel is solid, but it changes the game, man. We got to keep Mitch healthy. There's got to be a way for him to stop falling to the ground. There's got to be a way, because, Sim, I'm telling you right now, I'm not saying championship. It's not fair. It's 5 games. But what I'm saying is, over the course of the year, if we can keep these guys healthy, nobody thought the Dallas Mavericks were going to win the title when they did it. The Toronto Raptors that year. The bottom line is, things happen in the NBA. Julius, we just got to help Julius. This whole year is about helping Julius.
I hear you.
Getting him better. Julius can be a better player. He's not a finished product. We just have to help him. If you care about the Knicks, you want Julius to get to that level. I promise you that. That's all I got,
All
man.
right.
Have a great
Appreciate you,
weekend.
Spree.
All right, Spree. Take it easy, bro.
You. And, I looking around the chat, I see people in the chat, looking for attention, things like that. In the YouTube chat, you don't give people like that the attention that they're looking for. You just go ahead with your show and do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because when you have players who are very good scorers in the NBA, when their shot's not falling, what do? They get close to a triple-double. I'll just leave it at that right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Andy, who was your player of the game it was this morning for you, right? Or it was this evening for you, whatever it was. You just watched the game. But who was your player of the game?
Yeah, but it's almost tomorrow for me now.
Right.
Yeah, Sim. I would have to go probably with RJ Barrett on this one. Me and Steph were talking, even before this game, what to look for RJ. And listen, this game, he scored only 1 bucket without taking a dribble, which means the rest of his points came after him driving to the hoop and taking a dribble, which means basically he was creating for himself.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that's a thing that we want from RJ to happen. And as you and me spoke before the show, there were several times when he caught a rebound and basically went coast to coast. I wanted to call it a fast break, but he ain't that fast. But he wasn't waiting for his teammates. So, he went on for, 1 versus 2 guys, 1 versus 1, and he scored. And most importantly, at least twice this game, I saw him score with the right hand on those plays. So that's really, something that he was working on, and you can notice it. So that means, he's evolving. And for a young player like him, all Knicks fans should be happy with his evolution like that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Steph, your player of the game?
I want to say Randle, but can you say Randle after he missed 2 free throws and didn't pull that offensive rebound out, right?
Right.
It was such a mixed bag with him, but I'm gonna pick him anyway, only because the way he was moving that ball around those first 3 quarters just really got us off to a good start. We were so hard to guard the way he was spraying the ball around, and without him doing that, even given his mishaps in the second half, that last quarter, without him doing that, I don't think we win this game. I just don't think we would have had enough to win this game. He only had 2 points, I think, in the first half. Wasn't shooting well. But he stayed in the game defensively. He stayed in the game in terms of his rebounding, in terms of his assists. He was really engaged. It's a tough one, but I'm gonna say Randle.
Okay. All right. Cornerstone.
Yeah, this is gonna. I'm gonna agree with
You
Andy.
can say Frank. You can say Frank.
Right.
All right.
Andy, I do like you. I just want you to know that, so you don't have to go like that. No, and I'm going to agree with you, unfortunately, but I got to say RJ. What he did last night was just phenomenal, in my eyes, because he was taking what the defense was giving him. And the one thing what do we always ask our young players when they first come into the league? To get better each year, work on something and get better, and try and get better. And that's what he's doing right now. And for his goal to be the best defensive player, be on the defensive first team, that's his goal. He might be on his way to doing that, because how many times have we seen DeMar Rosen, airball a shot like that? We haven't.
Yeah.
We haven't. And that was because of the defense. And also, I'm not going to lie, that was also some help from Mitch. But primarily, that was all that was all RJ. I mean, the kid just keeps getting better and better and better. And there's no telling what his ceiling is going to be right now. And he was with the personnel that we have, anybody can erupt or be a difference maker. And it just so happened last night that he was that difference maker. And and for everybody that's saying, that's down on him and everything and wants to get him traded, they can all kick rocks, because the guy's not going anywhere. He's not. And you ought to be happy that you have a guy that wants to be in New York. All right, that wants to play for us, because when we drafted him, we were still in shambles. So for him to do what he's doing right now that we have a competent management team, a competent team now, the sky's the limit for this guy, because, again, we have the right management and we have the right coach now to push him.
Yeah, I'm with you. And, RJ is my player of the game last night. I thought that he played a good basketball game. He had 20 points, 3 rebounds. He shot 53% from the field. He made that defensive stop on DeMar DeRozan last night. I thought he did a good job, like you guys said, creating his own shot when he needed to create his own shot. But then he'd also knock down or take a couple of open attempts when they were created for him by Kemba, by Julius Randle, whoever it was. I also like the way that he took it to players in transition.
Yeah.
Right. Early in the game, you see him get the Knicks got the rebound. They got it out to RJ, and he goes coast to coast.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Goes coast to coast and ends up with a dunk. And it didn't even look like he was, speeding up the court fast. He just monitored the defense, see what they were giving him, and then he goes down the lane and he dunks it. I like the way RJ played last night. He didn't get as many rebounds as he normally does. It's okay. That's going to happen. Every game is going to be a little bit different.
Right.
But I thought he played pretty good defense anytime he was on Zach LaVine or anytime he was on DeMar DeRozan. I thought he played good defense. He did give up a backdoor.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He gave up one. But he didn't give up. He gave up one in the first half. He didn't do it in the second half. Mm-hmm. I thought I really liked his game last night. I thought he was the player of the game too.
Yeah, but against him, aside from the second Orlando game when he was sticking Ross, he's been magnificent on his one-on-one defense. Whoever he has to stick. I mean, you go back to the preseason with Bradley Beal, and then this year we were sitting right there with Tatum. And then Philly with who was he? Well, nobody really on
Danny
was
Green.
Sticking.
He was on Danny Green.
But Danny Green wasn't that difference maker like these other guys are. And then last night you had either LaVine or DeRozan. I mean he's really, really, really taking a step forward on the defensive end.
Yeah.
And again, it comes with his support group, his parents, and then, the team itself.
Yeah. Kev, do you think he can become that defensive stopper that he wants to be?
I think in time. I mean, we're only 6 games into the season. I say 6 because, tomorrow night and everything. I think I believe he can. I firmly believe that. I think he can. And that's the only thing he's worked. That's the only thing that he made a goal for, because everything else, from his free throw shooting, from his 3-point shooting, and getting to the basket and everything, that's already becoming a little bit of secondary nature to him. Mm-hmm. He wants to be one of the best defensive two-way players in this league. Mm-hmm. And the second part of being a two-way player is on the defensive end, and that's what he's doing. I just love what he's doing. I just love his mindset, man. I love his mindset.
Okay. Yeah. Steph, I know you chose Julius Randle as the player of the game, but just looking at what RJ did last night, what are your thoughts on his game from last night?
I loved it. I mean, let's just start with that last play. He was picked off. He was going to go toward LaVine, who he was guarding. He noticed that DeRozan was left alone. He turned back to guard, to make up, right? Because he had to make up to get back into play, and he was under control, right? He could have easily went for that, pump fake, for somebody to be behind and to catch up and still have that discipline not to go for the pump fake, that says a lot. So that means that you're mentally, in the game. You're not just reacting, you're thinking as well. And then I was just impressed with him getting his own shot off the dribble. Like, I was just so excited because it just opens up another dimension for us as a team, right? He's not just somebody that can shoot off the catch. He could go in transition the entire way and finish right or left, right? That's an improvement. Well, finishing, period, is an improvement. And finishing with the right or left. And there was a few times where he just took his guy off the dribble, put it between his legs a few times. And I remember last year when he would do that, I was like, oh, this is going to be a disaster. And he was able to get right to the cup and lay it up. So if he can do that, Sim, if he's scoring off the dribble, he's creating his own shot, he's defending, stop looking at whether he's the best scorer or not. His all-around game is developing. That bodes well for us, no doubt about it.
Hey, Steph, real quick. Anybody else that was in his position that was playing for the Knicks, we that other DeRozan hits that shot and we lose the game. Because I've seen that plenty of times where that's happened. These guys along with RJ, are becoming so disciplined right now on the defensive end, not going for the fakes. I mean, yeah, here and there that it'll happen and all like that. But last night in the key moment to win the game, he did what his principles dictated to him, and we won it. Now, if DeRozan, if DeRozan hits the shot, he hits the shot. But you couldn't ask for a better disciplined plan than what RJ did last night.
Yeah, and I've seen DeRozan hit that shot plenty of times.
Right. Plenty of times.
Yeah.
Plenty of times.
Yeah, great game from RJ last night. I do want to ask people that's in the chat, and just tell me what you think about it. You can just put it in the chat. You're seeing the screen right now. Is there too much going on the screen right now for you? Just hit me with a yes or a no. I know there's a lot of information on the screen right now. I'm just trying to figure out, working out new overlays and new looks, stuff like that. So just tell me if that's information overload on the screen right now.
You don't have my picture on there, so I'm trying to understand it.
You're there.
But there should be some cutouts of me on there.
No,
you know what I'm saying? So,
there shouldn't. There shouldn't.
No, there shouldn't.
Yeah, we're gonna have to cut out this after the screen.
Oh God.
After the screen.
Okay, so we talked about player of the game. What was your play of the game?
Ooh.
Andy, I'll start with you.
Yeah, listen, I think it's one of those alley-oops in the first quarter to Mitch, or probably that RJ coast-to-coast, play that he dunked. I think one of those plays. We didn't have like a late game moment, to put us up or something like that, because we were losing, the points. but I think, that one of those plays probably was probably for me the plays of the game.
Okay. Steph?
The last play of the game.
The last play of the game?
Yeah. That was the play of the game for me.
Okay. Yeah. Kev?
This is going to surprise all three. And it all actually I have two of the same player. Obi Toppin. Mm-hmm. The and one that he got when he people thought he was going to shoot the three, but he actually took it in and shot it awkwardly and got the shot off, and it was an and one. That one, and then also the block that he did on
the 3-point.
On the 3-point. Yeah, the block that he did. Right. That was I think those two things were for me the plays of the game for me.
Okay.
Coming from him.
Right.
I mean, I know he only had 5 points, 5 or 6 points or anything, but I think what he did, his activity is just getting better, man. Sim, you got to admit, I mean, you were real hard on him last year, man. You were downright hard on him. He's taking a great stand. Yes, Steph, deservedly so. But again, we didn't look at the optics of why his play was so deteriorated last year. I mean, he had no summer league. I mean, no, he had no March Madness first. He had no combine. He had no summer league training camp. No summer league at all, and only about four days of regular training camp, and then 2 days of training camp, and then the rest were 4 preseason games. Then he gets hurt, so already he's behind the 8 ball right there. So now you fast forward, after the season finished, he worked on his game. They had summer league this year. He made I think first team all rookie and everything. And it's no fluke of what his performance is like right now. It really isn't.
The operative word is he worked on his game. That's why he's better.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that those things didn't have an impact on him. They probably did, but remember, he wasn't the only rookie that went through that. A lot of the rookies did.
Okay, so now my counter to that is not everybody operates on the same, same wavelength.
That is true.
Yeah. That's all. That's all.
Okay.
But he's really, and that's what we talk about with management and putting the right people around your players and everything, because him and IQ. I know IQ has been slipping a little, but that's neither here or there. The young guys are really taking off, and I feel bad for a guy like Kevin Knox because he didn't have that support staff like back then, like these guys have right now.
Right. Okay. All right. My play of the game was the coast to coast with R.J. Barrett. I like that play. I just felt like it was I don't want to say a coming out party for R.J. Barrett, but I felt like that set the tempo of how he was going to play for this game here. You know what I mean? And I like seeing R.J. I don't know if I want to say he went like straight downhill on that play, but I like seeing him make some moves and do some things in transition. So that was my play of the game when he went coast to coast and dunked it down the lane. That was my play of the game. But a lot of places to choose from, and then I guess him getting the stop on DeMar DeRozan probably should be the play of the game because that's the play that got us the win.
Right.
You know what I mean? But good game all around from R.J. Barrett, man. And I see a lot of people put a lot of good things in the chat. When I'm saying good things, like good stuff in the chat, good feedback in the chat, and I'm taking it all in. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you all. Thank you for the feedback. Appreciate the feedback always. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, the shoot around is presented by SeatGeek. If you use the code NBK, you get $20 off of your first $50 purchase on SeatGeek. There's a link in the description of this video. So purchase your tickets using SeatGeek. Something I read earlier today about Derrick Rose. That Derrick Rose wants to play into his 40s.
Oh, like Brady. Yeah, I saw that too.
Like Brady. He wants to play into his 40s. And, this is a big change for Derrick Rose. You remember a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
You thought maybe he was going to retire.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And now he's saying he wants to play into his 40s. Do you think he can play into his 40s? And will it be with the New York Knicks? Andy, I'll start with you.
How old is he now?
I think he's 33. So he's still got 7 years to go before he even hits 40.
Right.
Yeah. So, as far as I see it, I think he probably could play until his 40s because he already developed his game to a more of a old man game. At the young age, he was driving to the hoop basically on every play. Now he developed a 3-point shot. He is looking for his teammates way more than he was, in the days of, the Chicago Bulls, Derrick Rose. So, and, listen, every player in the NBA that wants to play a little bit longer, the 35, 36 years, has to, try to develop that ISO post game probably. And I really think that he is one of the guys that's really capable of doing it. And the other thing is, will it be with the Knicks? I think it's definitely going to be with Tibbs. So if Tibbs isn't with the Knicks, that might be the case. And 7 years, Sim is a long time. So, and for a Knicks coach to be, like 9 years with the Knicks, man, I don't think we, any of us lived that long, to have a coach 9 years with the same coach with the Knicks. So,
Right. Steph, what do you think?
I don't think so. I mean, he could surprise me. I don't think so. I mean, he's not as athletic as he used to be, but he still beats his person off the dribble to get into the lane to either make a pass or to finish at the basket, and that sets up his 3-point game. At 40, he's going to lose even the athleticism that he has now. So his ability to get into the lane, beat people off the dribble to set up that 3-point shot, I think is going to be less. Now, he can do it off of screens, which Kemba is doing now, right? He's, using the screens to kind of get his shot off. That's possible. But I would say no, especially if he's not just a veteran sitting on the bench like, I can't even use Taj because Taj is playing the guy in Miami that they keep signing. He hardly plays. Haslam. If he's going to be in that role, yes. But if he's going to be actually playing minutes, I would say no.
Yeah. 7 years. I mean, Derrick Rose has been he's been in the league since what, 19 years old, right? He's 32, so he's already been in the league for 13 years or 14 years. You know, for him to hit 40, you're talking about another 7. That's 21 years in the league. Obviously, we have some guys that have played that long. I think Melo's in year 18, 19 or something like that.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. I guess we'll see. You know, I think a lot's going to depend on how his game develops. Because right now he still uses his explosiveness, you know, to get to the cup. He is developing a jump shot. And he, you know, like we said, he has a high basketball IQ. You know, maybe as he gets 35, 36, 37, now his game starts to become, you know, he's playing like Jason Kidd. You know, he's playing slower. It's, you know, but his basketball IQ was able to get him over. You know, who knows? Maybe that's the way it'll go. 7 years is a long time. You know what I mean? I don't know if he's going to be with the Knicks for that entire time. If it does happen, you know, he'll probably, you know, bounce around from one or two other teams, somewhere probably close to Chicago. But I don't know. How long do you see him being with the Knicks right now? Andy, I'll jump to you. I'll jump to you, Andy. Then we can get around since you get, you know.
Yes, Sam. Just to point out, you know, the player that currently holds the longest, you know, amount of seasons playing, it's Vince Carter. And listen, he began his career just as a high-flying dunker. Right. So, you know, he developed the game, the post game, and he, you know, last seasons with the Hawks that he had, listen, he wasn't anything flashy, but he was still bringing something to the teams that was signing him. So I think D-Rose can do it. And like Steph said, even if it's an Udonis Haslem role, I think, you know, the young players would definitely benefit from him being around. And yes, and the question was how long can we see him play?
How long
would it be with the Knicks?
Would it be with the Knicks? You know, how long do you think he'll play with the Knicks?
Yeah, listen, I think it's as far as Tibbs is the coach. I don't see by any chance if Tibbs by any, you know, mean gets like fired in 2 seasons. I think D-Rose might consider retirement at that point. I don't think, you know, there's any coach that D-Rose feels that comfortable to play for.
Right. That's true.
And that's basically the thing that's keeping D-Rose, you know, around basketball on the court at least. Off the court, he can do anything he wants, like coach a young team, whatever. I think, you know, for him, it's more about being comfortable. He got the money already. Got the, you know, the advertisements money, the advertisements deals. So I think, you know, for him, it's just not to sit at home and do nothing and watch it, you know, on NBA League Pass. I think, you know, he's really comfortable with playing for Tibbs.
Now, at some point, I think, excuse me, at some point, I think he's gonna probably go back to Chicago and maybe end his career in Chicago.
Right? I think it's going to be a 1 year, like a 1 day contract, like Amari had, like Studmeyer had with the Knicks.
Yeah, and that could be. You know, that's his hometown. You know, he's always wants to represent for his hometown. He didn't even want to leave home. You know, the first time he was being traded. You know, I'm pretty sure you all seen the video when he started. You know, he started crying and things like that when his agent told him that he was about to be traded. I think that eventually he goes back to Chicago, maybe even plays a season in Chicago. I actually thought he was going to end up back in Chicago this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did. I thought he was going to end up back in Chicago. I wasn't, you know, I know that he wanted to play with Tibbs, obviously, but I thought there was a good chance that maybe he ended up back in Chicago playing, you know, backing up Lonzo Ball. You know, I'm glad he's still here in New York because I feel like when he's on the court, and I know he's not an all-star, but I feel like he plays at an all-star level when he's on the court.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's amazing because so many of those players, like him included, that we thought were not going to be a part of us, they are. I mean, I thought Reggie Bullock was going to be a part of us, and he's not even here. I didn't think we were going to keep Burke. I didn't think we were going to keep New Orleans, and I didn't think we were going to keep Rose, and they're still here. So it shows you what the management, believes in a lot of these guys, and also giving them contracts that are reasonable, pretty much as well.
Yeah. What's Derrick Rose's contract? How long is it? I don't remember.
3. Is it 3 years? The third year is
2+1. Yeah.
2+1. Yeah.
2+1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Is it me? Is it my turn?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. To me, I don't think he'll play until 40. At 40, I don't think he'll have meaningful minutes. But I do believe that he can kind of write his own ticket with us as how long he stays with us, because the organization and the players respect him so much, and he feels so comfortable here, and also the Tibbs effect as well. I think he'll only leave when he wants to leave. He's going to do it on his terms. So if he's still unhappy, if he's unhappy, that's when he'll leave. And I don't see him being unhappy. He wants to be here. Yeah. He literally wants to be here. And if we win a championship while he's still here, that almost guarantees that he's not going to leave. So
that's I think mostly true. Mostly true. I guess we'll find out. We'll see. I do want to say happy birthday to Evan Fournier. It's his birthday today. I think he's 29 years old, Andy?
Yeah, 29 exactly.
Yeah, 29 years old.
I was trying to punk Kev with this one, Sim, but you burned it.
Oh, I messed it up. My bad. I don't know. My bad.
You are. Oh my God, Ninja Andy. Everyone in the chat, this is Ninja Andy right here. He always does stuff to me on the sneak tip. So I just want everyone to know that.
Just for all the chat, for all the NBK fam in the chat. I swear to you guys, Kev, like 2 months ago, Sim, right? 2 months ago, he was like, "Oh, listen, guys, this is my birthday." So we're like, "Happy birthday, happy birthday!" And I sent it, and literally, I sent him a meme with like 2 ladies in the first row, and the guy was waving in the back. And I wanted to do the happy birthday again because I was like, "Oh, you had the happy birthday. I'm gonna do it again." And I found exactly the same meme. Because I have the same sense of humor. So,
you're a punk. You're a punk.
Kev,
you are a punk.
I'm telling you, Kev, you had a birthday at least one time this year already.
Last October.
No,
yes.
man.
Really?
No, man.
Wow.
I think you're milking it.
I was born on October 28th, 1970.
I think you're milking it, Kev. I don't know.
Kev, you probably had a heart transplant when you were at the hospital. That's why you have a second birthday, bro.
Really?
I'm still going to wish you a happy birthday.
Oh, my God. Oh, man, you can't make it up, man. You can't make it up at all.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's it for today's show. Any last words you want to get in? Yeah, man, it's 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. Already.
Some big games on tonight, too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What games are on tonight? Let's see what's on tonight before I get to some last words. Who tonight?
The Hornets and the Heat. That should be
that should
4-1 and 3-1.
Yeah, 4-1, 3-1.
That's gonna be bad.
Be a good game. 7:30 on ESPN. You got
that's gonna be live.
You got the 1-4 Orlando Magic facing off against the Toronto Raptors, who are 2-3. The Pacers.
And we play them Monday.
And we play the Raptors Monday, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Play the Raptors on Monday. The Pacers take on the Nets tonight. The Nets are 2-3 on the season so far.
Hey, Sim, just real quick, because of their record, do you think that's a Kyrie Irving reason, or is it that they're just not What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, maybe some of it could be due to Kyrie Irving not being there. Eventually, I think that they're going to get on track, and they got too much talent.
Right.
Yeah,
I think
but the
eventually
thing-
And
they'll get on
Harden
track.
is not getting those calls. He's averaging
Exactly.
like 14, 15, 16 points a
Yep.
game
Yep. So
But-
now he's
but-
got
but
to
Steph-
learn how to play without getting those calls.
But we've always. I mean, there have been teams where they said, "Oh, they'll get it together," and then when you think they're going to get it together, it's too late. I don't know, man. I just think a lot of these teams, I don't think will get it together, and I think you're seeing the teams that are doing good, like doing good right now, a la us, because we have everything clicking for us as far as a coach, as far as a game plan, as far as everyone's been talking about it. The culture is just good. It's just really good right now. And I start to question what the Nets culture is, what the Lakers are. I question a lot of these guys that we thought that were supposed to be out the gate good. I start to question that culture.
Yeah. Well,
I really do.
I mean, I don't know if the Nets,
it is legit. It is legit.
Yeah, I don't know if the new Nets, the Nets that had D'Angelo Russell and those guys, they were building a culture. I don't know if this team really has that kind of culture. Julito said, I said happy birthday to Kevin January. I don't know.
Kevin, strike three, bro. No more birthdays this year.
Polito, man. Oh my God.
Listen,
I got a legit celebrity really messing with me right now. A legit celebrity.
Kev.
What? Yeah.
The funny thing is, that's the month that I had in mind.
Oh my God. Y'all are bad.
That's the same month that I had in mind.
Y'all are bad people. Bad people.
Just saying.
Bad people.
Oh, you're the bad one that's milking his birthday.
No, you're bad. You are bad.
Yeah, milking.
Y'all are bad. Oh man.
The Kings take on the Pelicans tonight. I might try to check that game out just so I can get a look at the Pelicans and see what they do. The Mavericks are taking on the Nuggets. The Clippers take on the Blazers, and the Cavaliers on LA to take on the Los Angeles Lakers.
And the Cavaliers beat Denver, Atlanta, and the Clippers.
Yeah.
Wow.
They are 3-2 right now. So,
wow.
Yeah. We'll see
I'm
what's up.
not going to lie. I would love the Knicks to be versus the Lakers this week. The Lakers are a mess now. So,
right.
I would gladly take that game.
Yeah. I think chances are both those teams, the Lakers and the Nets, find a way to get it together. I'm not going to say
counting them out,
that they're definitely going to be in the championship, but I think they find a way to get it together.
But they're like one injury away from destruction.
Yeah.
Most teams
They're
are.
one injury.
Yeah, that's right. Most teams are.
Yeah, and Sim, just to add, I don't know if you remember the flagrant foul that Mitch had on Patrick Williams. Patrick Williams has a dislocated wrist injury, and he's out for the season.
Wow.
So, and that's their starting power forward. So,
wow. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not a very deep team.
And that was off of that play?
Yeah,
off that play. I mean, it wasn't a dirty play from what I saw. It wasn't dirty. I've seen worse. Chicago fans saying that it was.
If that would be Randle on the Knicks, bro, you would be calling out names and buy a jersey and burn that jersey, bro. So
man, whatever.
But he fall awkwardly. Let's be true. He fall, awkwardly.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna head up out of here. Andy, any last words before you get out of here?
Yeah, again, happy birthday to Evan Fournier. Happy birthday to Kev.
I know that was painful. Thank you so much.
See you tomorrow on the pregame show.
I appreciate it. Steph?
Yeah, I mean, happy birthday, Kev, again.
Well, thanks, Stephanie.
Sam, are we going Tuesday, 8:30 for Queens Court?
Yes.
Okay, so the Knicks play Monday. They play New Orleans, so we won't have a Queens Court. We'll do it Tuesday at 8:30, and that'll be the schedule anytime the Knicks have a Monday game. It happens a few times this year, I think twice in November. Listen, the next two games, we're 4? We should be 6-1. We should be 6-1. I'm looking forward to that for sure.
But 7-0 would have been greater.
Yeah. But had we not, like we said, maybe we don't. If we beat Orlando, maybe we're not as sharp against Philly. Maybe.
Right.
Yeah. Kev?
Well, I want to push my show for Thursday, the Pod Couple, with my man Sergeant G, man. Again, we appreciate all the support that the chat and everyone's been, watching. And thank you so much for all the birthday love y'all have shown me. Just to let Comcast customers know, Comcast and the MSG network are coming back to the table on this Monday. So hopefully we can, we'll start to be watching games again on Comcast, even though I'm going to be deleting Comcast because that cable's just too much. But they are getting back to the table on Monday. So that's good news to hear.
Okay. That is good news to hear. That is good news to hear. And since we're doing stuff like that, I might as well tell everybody, go out and buy Shiba Inu, man. Go buy the crypto coin. If you're into cryptocurrency, go out and buy Shiba Inu right now. Join the SHIB army and, try to make yourself rich. But anyway, I am going to get up out of here. I appreciate you all. I'll catch you tomorrow on the pregame show. I thank you for your advice and your feedback on the layout and things like that. That's the way that we continue to grow and get better. Appreciate you all. Thank you for your time, and I'm out of here. Be peaceful, spread love. Out.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Nick.